What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, May 13th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio, coming off a massive, glorious Wednesday. 12-5 plus 7.55 units. Bankroll is growing. 7-2 plus 4.60 units in MLB. 2-2, down 0.40 units in NBA. 3-1 plus 3.35 units in NHL. Taint play of the day cashes and moves to 18-10. Dutch boy Freshest look cashes and has hit 5 of its last 6 here on the show. Slats 45 got me on Vegas first period -0.5. I was already on them -1.5. At plus 135. The first period -0.5 was plus 135. So two big cashers there. Birdie and Clint started the Die Hard MMA podcast. A couple cappers who were all over the Ottawa Senators cashed that at plus 165. Fortunate in overtime. Wrong on the Wild, but a excellent day of cashing. And we're just 48 hours away from the special show, the Preakness Stakes, all day, all night, thoroughbred handicapping, live betting. And I'm excited, man. It feels good. It feels good. This is the first time all year, maybe it's the second time, but that we're up over 5 units now in MLB, 97 and 80, hitting at 54.8%, ROI plus 3.03%, plus 5.36 units, average line minus 112. We've also, and you know the struggles I've had in NHL this year. I mean, it's just been a struggle. And in NHL now, we're sitting after, 300 bets. We are sitting plus units there. We're sitting plus 2.98 units, ROI plus 1.02%. So feel good, feeling hopeful, and ready to get to work right here with you guys. We got Capalot Pops in the house as all my plays that I gave out hit. Yeah, it felt like we were eating. Brian Watson said, should have taken the chat's advice and bet Portland. I should have. There's always going to be some should-haves and could-haves and would-haves in a day. And, it's just been a great week. We are almost at double-digit units in the last 2 days. We're sitting at just under 9 units plus in the last 2 days. So it feels good. There's our guy, Fap Win. Cream Rises. Yeah, he gave us Fap Win gave us Cream Rises last night on Razor Sharp Picks' thoroughbred handicapping show. And, man, Fap Win just eats, man. The guy eats. There's Joseph Gomez. Thank you for the very kind words. Christopher Gargaro, my guy, says ready to hit the card hard today. Albie, Bichette, and Simeon over 1.5 bases in the early games. Guys have hit safely in 42 of the last 46 games combined. I love that. There's North Ender in the house. Says a huge day for the low baggers yesterday. Yes, it was. There is Matty Ice, fresh off a casher. That wasn't on my card. That was in addition to my card. Beauty. I had the Phillies Nets first 5 under 4.5, which cashed easily, but I didn't have Phillies first 5 -1/2 until you brought it to us. Ilya Katz in the house. North Ender giving the love out. We got Andre ready to go. There's our guy, Slats 45. It's so clear what we do here, and that's just working together to defeat the juice, because we were really in harmony yesterday. Slats, thank you for getting me on the Vegas Knights first period -0.5. There's Nick Gucci looking for an early MLB parlay. Jared JB in the house says top of the morning. Jared JB will be rolling with us when we destroy the books on Saturday. And I need one. The Derby took a lot of wind out of my sails, man. I need to get it back for the Preakness here. Ron Lofton, Tim Montana. We got Gerald Jones says, got Phoenix to win the Pacific Division, 2-game lead with 3 games to go. Got Philly at 5-1 to win the East last month. Yeah, I got him. I got him earlier than that. And not much better than that. I got him at plus 550. Oh, but you probably have to win the Eastern Conference regular season. Are you talking about regular season or because I got him at 5.5 to win the Eastern Conference, and that was a bet that was on the phone with Ski Profit yesterday, and he was he likes the Sixers to come out of the East as well. All right, Puzzler, Dynamite ready to go. Paco Healy, our man from San Diego, ready to eat. And there is Maxwell Smart, says, very nice, glorious winning day. And we have a max play of the day. A max play of the day from our Maxwell Smart. And Earl Sports Bet, huge hit on Ottawa plus 197 last night. Great job, Earl Sports Bet, getting on Ottawa real early. I got on them late. That's why I got the plus 165. But even by showtime yesterday, it was down to plus 150. Jeff Joseph says, excited about Preakness. Jimmy, who are you on? I am on concert tour to win the Preakness Stakes. Concert tour to win the Preakness Stakes. And I don't expect to get much more than 2-1, but I will single him. I'd like this. Actually, it depends. If I go in a group Rainbow Six ticket, I can't say, we have to singles concert tour. But I might make my own little one and single. Yeah, I'm on concert tour. Who are you on, Jeff? And by the way, Jeff Joseph, cash with Medina Spirit in the Kentucky Derby. Great cap there. Ilya Caps, DC, ready to go. Steve Priest in the house. Juan Ruiz. Says Max, Austin Matthews, gold prop, free money. He's rolling right now. Isn't he just absolutely rolling? What a monster he is. There's Razor Sharp picks. Churchill tonight. It starts at 5 o'clock. When does your show? Does that pop off at 7? It's always fun on Thursdays with Razor Sharp picks because of the late start for Churchill Downs on Thursdays. All right, let's get to work. We have a lot of work to do. There's Nate Dogg 420. We haven't seen him in a while. Great to see you. Shauno, Randy, glorious. Marlon Z. We haven't seen Marlon Z in a while. Great to see you, my guy. Great to have you rolling with us because it's early out west. It's early for our Western cappers there. There is JB says, I feel you spent most of my sports profits on the Derby losses. Yeah, this week's been a bankroll builder, but you know what? I had a huge week going into the Derby, and I think that sort of messed with my head. I think I got a little too cocky going into the Derby. There's Hustle Wilson, Dutch Boy Fresh. That was an easy casher, and Dutchy gave that out at a plus line. I got it at minus 105, but that 13.5 rebounds was at my book was minus 105 to the over, minus 135 to the under. And he goes off for 20 rebounds. What a call by Dutch Boy Fresh. David Sharp, Dirty K prop 20-9. He's on Eflin over 5.5 strikeouts at plus 130. Hit that number 5 out of 7 times this year, and he's in good form. Phillies paying his tax, and then he even goes 6 innings today. I love that look. That look makes a ton of sense. There's DX Filer. Paco Healy says Baffert horse, no brainer. Jimmy Yim says, how do we bet the Maxwell Smart play of the day? Jay Yim, you go onto his Twitter, CBMS420, and you like it, and you simply post a picture of a cupcake, any cupcake of your choosing. It's that easy. At CBMS420, he's 8-1 on these max plays of the day, and it will be a individual batter, total bases prop. Simply post a cupcake. That's it. That's it. All right, Andre on Phillies first 5. Marlon says Dutch is clutch. What up? Paco Healy on Braves team total over 4.5, and I haven't made a move. But there are moves to make. There are moves to make. Here we go. Taint play the day. Corbin K's under 5.5 minus 125. Corbin has not had over 5 Ks all year, and in 38 bats for Phillies, he only had 4 strikeouts, and all 4 were against the same 2 players. Wow. The Taint play of the day is in. So let's do some copy and pasting. We're going to copy. And Dynamite hit his play of the day yesterday as well. Great job, Dynamite. That over 8.5 in the Astros game. That was a beauty. All right, so let's do this here. So we're going to get this Eflin prop here. We're going to copy and paste the Dirty K play of the day in this Phillies spot. That pops off at 105. Let me make sure I have that ready to give out when we talk about that game. Then we have the Taint play of the day on the same game. So we have 2 of our guys giving us K props in the same game on opposite pitchers. Very interesting. All right. Life of Von Polo says, I was in the chat last night, but no one knows me. Von Polo, sorry, man. Not on purpose. We know we love you. You know that we love you. There's Nilo. Says, I came in from trimming some hedges. Says, give me the Taint. The Taint is in, Nilo. The Taint is in. Paco Healy, Phillies first 5 Nats full game. And We've already given you the Taint play of the day. How about we roll right into the freshest look right now? Suns minus 4.5 is the freshest look. I love that spot. That makes a ton of sense. There was actually two moves that I almost made in NBA, and that was one of them. But thought, you know what, I'll come down here. And I was also interested in the Spurs. I thought it was interesting that they weren't getting love here. It's kind of a tricky spot for the Knicks. I know the Spurs are on the second half of a back-to-back, but the market's moving clearly in the Knicks' direction, and I bet you they'll continue to do that for the rest of the day. So it went from 4.5 to 5.5, and I bet you we can get more if we do wait. And betting the Spurs is always a dangerous proposition. All right, the Suns here at home against the Blazers, who are on the second half of a back-to-back themselves. There we go. Freshest look all set up. Thank you for sharing that with us. And Jeff says, I believe this is the weakest Preakness field in years. There's been a lot of weak Preakness fields the last few years. And we were talking on the show, on Razor Sharp's horse racing show last night, that the Traverse Stakes always has, last 5 years, much stronger fields than the Preakness Stakes. Maybe much is a little extreme. You know what? Putting a line through Mandaloon's Louisiana Derby, I'm going to put a line through Concert Tour's Arkansas Derby, and I expect Concert Tour to win. But I see why you like Medina Spirit. Medina Spirit does have numbers that tower over. Toronto Hopkins loving the Sabonis over the points tonight. And Christopher Gargaro giving a shout out to our Jose on the 1s and 2s, our producer, creating these dope graphics for us. It's very exciting. And it is time to get to work right now. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on Betting with the Bag of Pub Sports Radio. Again, we're coming off a 12-5 plus 7.55 units day. That comes on the heels of Tuesday's 9-7 plus 1.35 unit day. So put that together, and we have gone so far this week 22-12 plus 8.90 units. I think we're going to get more. Although I did find this MLB card pretty hard. I had made 7 bets. Is that right? I had made 7 bets before I got here yesterday, and I've made 0 today. So it's not going to be easy. Wow, Priest, are the Wolves really down to 4.5? I like that look there. Okay, let's get to work right now. We start with afternoon baseball. Again, a little review of yesterday. New York Mets -1 cash. Cincinnati -1 cash. Milwaukee -1 cash. White Sox -1 cash. Cincinnati first 5 -0.5 was a loser. Philadelphia, Washington first 5 under 4.5 cash. Milwaukee first 5 -0.5 was a loser. Chicago White Sox first 5 -0.5 cash. And Philadelphia first 5 -0.5, the Taint play of the day cash. And there's our guy, Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Such a huge supporter of the show, and it means so much to us. What a guy. Don't ask, don't tell. You ain't got much. If you know what you got, you ain't got much. There's our guy. Don't ask, don't tell. All right. And the Bogdanovich prop that Toronto Hopkins gave out cash last night. Bogdanovich went for 20. Nice call, Toronto Hopkins. And let's get to work. We start at 12:20 p.m. Eastern. The Toronto Blue Jays at Atlanta Braves. Blue Jays 19-16, 12-12 on the road. Atlanta Braves 17-19, 9-10 at home. We're at Truist Park in Cumberland, Georgia. It is 60 Fahrenheit clear, 7 miles per hour sideways, left to right. We have Ross Stripling and Charlie Morton, 2 pitchers who've been hit hard this year. And Stripling, I expected to get hit hard this year. Bama boy says locked in over 8.5 Toronto Atlanta. Both pitchers have been dumpster divers so far this year. They certainly have, but it is an afternoon game, and it's an early start for these guys. And Charlie Morton coming off just 2/3 of an inning is interesting. It's interesting to see how hard he's been hit. I would love to fade Ross Stripling here, but it's hard to trust Charlie Morton at this point. But the market is. This market opened up at -140. And I'm not sure if I'm signed in here. Let me see if I'm – okay, sorry, I'm not in. Let's get this Pinnacle opener here. We have, wow, Charlie Morton opening up at minus 136. There's been a 26-cent move on Charlie Morton and the Atlanta Braves. And look, that makes sense to me. I just think he's a very vulnerable pitcher. I think Stripling could get – I won't be in our starting rotation as soon as we have some health. But this total has gone from 9 to 8.5, which is a concern. David Sharp says, I know it's juice, but seems to me the play to make. Blue Jays first 5 team total over 1.5 minus 140. Jays have good numbers versus Morton. He's in bad form. Brian Watson also in the over in the Jays game. And David Sharp's also on that first 5 over 4.5. And Jeff Jones was saying I'll be using both Bafferts in all my tickets. Yeah, that makes sense. Earl Sports says I hopped on Toronto plus 151. Couldn't reject the value. Ross Stripling 0-2, 6.61 ERA, 1.90 whip, 16 in the third, 17 Ks, 7 walks, 3 home runs. Last start, he went 3 2/3, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 2 walks, 5 Ks in a 10-4 loss at Houston. And Ron Lofton's also all over first 5, 4.5 first 5. Charlie Morton 2-2, 4.98 ERA, 1.37 whip, 34 in the third, 40 Ks, 14 walks, 5 home runs. There's Mally Mal joining us. Oh, gee, low bagger who we love and miss. Great to see you, Mally Mal, in the house. Maxwell Smart on Marcus Semien over 1.5 bases. Sharpie says, look at the pitcher batter stats. We will get there very, very soon. Let's talk about Morton, though. Confusing season. 2-2, 4.98 ERA, 1.37 whip, 34 in the third, 40 Ks, 14 walks, 5 home runs allowed. Last start, he only makes it through 2 in the third. 4 hits, 6 runs, 0 earned. Still, 6 is a problem. 1 home run, 2 walks, 1 K, and a 12-2 loss at home to the Phillies. Blue Jays are hitting just 239, 714 OPS versus righties. Up here in Toronto, we have this vividness of this incredible lineup. And I know they got off to a real slow start, but we think there's 6 batters here that can hit 30-plus homers, but just 239, 714 OPS against righties. Let's not get carried away. Braves versus righties, 240, 770 OPS. Blue Jays bullpen been excellent all year long. 2.82 ERA, 1.17 whip. Converted 9 of 10 save opportunities. Braves bullpen, 4.66 ERA, 1.47 whip. Converted 8 of 13 save opportunities. Here we go. Viper says the total's gone under in 6 of Atlanta's last 7 games when playing at home against Toronto. And Dutchie looking more into Cat over 24.5 points. We'll get to that. And Isaiah Bolton says, what's the longest win streak for Taint? That's a good question that probably Matty Ice would know that I don't have offhand. Christopher Carter giving love to our Mally Mal. We got Good in the house. Good. We're coming off a monster day, baby. And there's our guy, Mr. Gokster. And Bob Taylor says, as a Braves fan, I'm disgusted with their bullpen. I hear that. I have a friend, big baseball fan down in Costa Rica, who's says they're the worst bullpen in the league. That's how angry he is. Now, I obviously don't think they're the worst bullpen in the league. Not when you have a Detroit Tigers bullpen with an ERA close to 7. Okay, against Stripling, they're hitting 213 with a 709 OPS. He gets them. Acuna, 0 for 4. Interesting. And against Charlie Morton, 294 high batting average, which is 794 OPS. So 2 home runs and 68 at-bats. Those home runs are by Bo Bichette and Kevin Biggio. Vladdy Guerrero, 3 for 10. Interesting. So why don't we take a quick look? There's Steve Zhang. Thank you. Thank you for asking about Frankie and not Freddie. Thank you, Steve. Thank you. My friend Steve Zhang in the house. Frankie's right here, baby. Okay, so Paco Healy says that's why they're due to rake them. And let's go to the lineups right now and take a look and see if there are any big bats out of this lineup, as we've seen this market go from 9 to 8.5. Here we go, daily lineups. And we have confirmed lineups: Semien, Bichette, Guerrero, Hernandez, Biggio, Gurriel, Davis, McGuire, Stripling. Again, it's an American League team in a National League ballpark, so Stripling will have a bat. Acuna, Freeman, Ozuna, Albies, Adrianza, Swanson, Mathis, Pache, and Morton. It's an ugly back end of the lineup unless Pache starts hitting. So I think, okay, we talk about, I've been talking about when games are incongruent, that I am going to stay off them. And I see some numbers that don't really make sense. And mainly they're coming from the market. So you have a pitch. There's Amsterdam. What else in the house? And Grichuk day off, says CT Bays. Wanted that 429 lineup. I hear you. So here we go. First off, this total, we have two pitchers on the mound that have looked awful all year, and yet this total has gone from 9 to 8.5. We have Morton, who threw just 2/3 of an inning last out and looked terrible, and there's been a huge 25 to 30 cent line move towards the Braves. We have Morton, who allows a 294 batting average against this lineup, and money's come in on him. And we have Stripling, who actually has looked good against this Braves lineup, and the market going heavy against them. So we look at these numbers and we think, well, this should be an over, but it's a very early start, 12:20 Eastern. They're just getting up and going to the ballpark. They're going to be out of their rhythm. And all that said and done, I don't want to move on it. I don't feel comfortable and I don't trust what I'm seeing. We had a huge day yesterday, and in that huge day, it was all very clear. The angles were so clear, and we were a half run from going 9-0. The two losses were by a half run. I don't feel comfortable. There's Jacksonville Zoe in the house. Puzzler says Jays have a huge hole in the bottom of the batting order today. You have to say that with Mathis hitting 7th for the Braves, that maybe they do too. So I'm off. And look, I want to fade Stripling as much as possible. I think the Braves are probably the right play. But do you trust Morton? All right, let's move on to 1:05 p.m. Eastern, that being the Phillies at Washington Nationals. We have two prop bets here. First, we'll start with a Dirty K prop from our David Sharp. He has Eflin over 5.5 strikeouts at plus 130. Says he's hit that number 5 out of 7 times this year and is in good form. Phillies pen is taxed, and they need him to go 6 innings. And then we also have none other than the Taint play of the day is Corbin. Patrick Corbin under 5.5 Ks at minus 125. He says Corbin has not had over 5 Ks all year, and in 38 at-bats versus the Phillies last year, he only had 4 strikeouts, and all 4 were against the same 2 players. And yes, Von Polo, there is my son going after Titty in the background. And, that's life, baby. And I respect it. Okay. National Park in Washington, D.C., 61 Fahrenheit clear, 8 miles per hour. In is the win. Viper MB says this total's gone under in 8 of Washington's last 9 games. And we have a total that opened up at 8.5 and it's gone down to 8. We have Eflin opening up as a favorite, a lukewarm favorite. And there's been a slight move over to Pinnacle. Mally Mal saying Burns coming back from COVID-19. Very interesting spot, that game that we will be talking about. And Brian Watson talking about how Hader is out for the Brew Crew. We'll get over there very soon. Have I ever stolen my son's milk? No. If there's no booze in it, I don't need to steal it. Eflin 2-1, 3.38 ERA, 1.13 WHIP, 45 1/3, 42 Ks, 3 walks. Look at that K to walk ratio, 42-3. 4 home runs allowed by Eflin. Last start, he looked good. 6 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 8 Ks, and a 12-2 win at Atlanta. Patrick Corbin, 1-3, 7.36 ERA, 1.53 WHIP, 29 1/3, 20 Ks, 14 walks, and 10 home runs. Paco Healy says Parkdale Ambulance always running. Look, all the windows are closed here, too. Every window is closed, yet you'll still hear constant sirens. Slats45 says, Jimmy, can you ask Jose if other ladies will get the honor of appearing on the Taint play? That is a good question, Slatsy. That's a great question. Very interesting. Needs new women on the Taint play. I love it. Oh, Slatsy, my guy. I love it. I can't wait to I'm so happy that it's finally warmed up in Montreal for you guys, too. Okay, Patrick Corbin, 1-3, 7.36 ERA, 1.53 WHIP, 29 1/3, 20 Ks, 14 walks, 10 home runs. In his last start, he looked pretty good. He did allow 3 solo shots. Those are the only 3 runs he allowed. He went 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 0 walks, 2 Ks, and 11-4 win at the Yankees. Philadelphia Phillies hit Yankees, 253 with a 732 OPS. Nationals hit righties, 237, 664 OPS. Phillies bullpen, 4.59 ERA, 1.40 whip. They've converted 11 of 20 save opportunities. Nats bullpen, 3.70 ERA, 1.24 whip. They've converted 3 of 6 save opportunities. And Brian Watson says the Nats can't hit. And the issue with that Nats lineup is they don't have anybody to protect Soto. It's awful. They have Turner and Soto and nothing else. So Turner gets good pitches because Soto's behind him, but Soto gets nothing to hit. All right, let's go to baseball data and see what we are dealing with here. Against Eflin, 323, 915 OPS. What do you do with that? This was my problem looking at this game this morning. Soto's 9 for 18 with 2 doubles and a homer. Can Schwarber protect him? Can anybody protect him? Because Josh Bell can't protect him. Can J.A. protect him? Turner 6 for 18 with 2 home runs. Do you put a line through those numbers because Eflin is a different pitcher this year? Now let's go to Corbin, 271 with a 776 OPS. So Harper, who's not very good against lefties, hitting 7 of 25 against them with 3 doubles, 287, 79 OPS. Hoskins 6 for 17 with 3 doubles and a home run. It's trickier than it looks. Itzhak the GOAT says Phillies is a play. Nats just lost a devastating game last night and play early. There's a very good point there, Itzhak. David Trump says the top 3 bats in the Nats lineup do hit Eflin. After the top 3, it gets the easy picking. Mally Mouse says simple scouting report on Nats. Pitch to Turner, walk Soto. Exactly. That's what we've been seeing nonstop, and it just absolutely drove me crazy 2 nights ago. Thankfully, it didn't hurt me last night because I stayed on the under, and I had the Phillies first 5. Ron Lofton, Phillies first 5 and full game. Joe Yerker says weaker lineup on both sides, maybe a first 5 under. Brian Watson said Josh Bell bust so far. What an enormous bust he's been. He's batting 136 or something, and that's going down. I was after watching him strike out with loaded bases a couple times, driving me crazy. So I found this card difficult. And I'm sitting at 97 and 80 on the year, and there's no need to reach. And what do you do? So, God, everything seemed to correlate yesterday and made these bets very easy. 4 of the games we doubled up on first 5 full game. This doesn't fully correlate. So, look, Taint play today is the prop bet on Corbin under 5.5 Ks. Maybe that's a spot to focus on. Mr. Gokster leans first 5 over 4 here. Puzzler says Sirens are down considerably, actually. Says I'm up high in here, all of them. This last year has been a huge sonic relief. It's only a positive feature. At this point, I'm not going to reach just to have afternoon action. And I mean, do we want to take the Phillies in this spot? Okay, let's move on. I'm not making a move here. We move on to 1:10 p.m. Eastern. Kansas City Royals at Detroit Tigers. Bob Taylor saying only 9 of the Nats' 32 games have gone over. That's a great stat, Bob. Okay, Royals, Tigers, let's go. Comerica Park, Detroit, Michigan. God, I can't wait till the borders open up and I can get down to Detroit, see my man Matty Ice, go to Green Dot Stables, eat some alligator, go to Slow's Barbecue. Man. 65 Fahrenheit clear, 3 miles per hour, sideways, slightly out to right. Daniel Lynch, the 24-year-old first rounder in the 2018 draft out of the University of Virginia's pitching. It's very interesting with these pitchers, these young pitchers, to cap them. And that Red Sox A's game, we had to stay off because it was very difficult to get enough information on the, rookie pitcher. He is 26 years old for the A's yesterday. And this is a similar situation. We do not have 2020 numbers on Daniel Lynch. We have 2018. He was very good numbers in A in rookie ball. And then in 2019, he had strong numbers in high A in rookie ball. Then he's coming to the show and being annihilated. But look who he got destroyed by. He went 2/3 of an inning, 7 hits, 8 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 0 Ks, and a 9-1 loss at the White Sox. So you have Daniel Lynch going up against the very best left-handed hitting team in the league, and now he's going up against the very worst left-handed hitting team in the league, the Tigers. So he goes up against a team that's hitting, it's like 300 and 900 to a team that's hitting 188 with a 507 OPS. Jose said, I picked up Lynch in fantasy against the White Sox. He put up a cool -22 for me. Still like him, though. So this is a tricky thing here. Paco Healy says, low bag Delmar meetup because the Breeders is in Delmar. It's a pricey locale, man. We need a place that everyone can get to for cheap. But it is in the talks. Okay. Jason Albert in the house. Great to see you, Jason. And Viper says, we will definitely do one at some point. I just don't know if we can do it for the Breeders' Cup. That's what I mean. That's what I'd like to say. CT Bay says, by Tiger standards, they are hitting. Okay. So, clearly, this is a much, much, much better opportunity for a first-round draft pick to have a decent start. That's all I need to say here. Taron Hopkins, of course. Oh, when I've gone to Atlantic City many, many times, and I will. We are definitely going to do a meetup at Atlantic City in the next couple of years. And Maxwell Smart says Grossman, Scope, Badu, and Jacoby Jones for the Detroit. Let's go to Spencer Turnbull. 1-2, 4.74 ERA, 1.26 WHIP, 19 innings, 15 Ks, 5 walks, 1 home run. In his last start, he went against a very tough Red Sox squad at Fenway. He only made it through 3 innings. 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned runs, 0 home runs, 0 walks, 3 Ks, and 12-9 loss to the Red Sox. Royals versus righties, 234, 705 OPS. We've already talked about the horrifying numbers the Tigers have versus lefties. Royals bullpen, 4.90 ERA, 1.42 WHIP. Just make sure I got this right. Okay, good. And the Tigers bullpen, an atrocity, 6.62 ERA, 1.75 WHIP. Let's go to batter versus pitcher here. Tigers haven't seen Lynch, and the Royals hit 283 with a 788 OPS versus Turnbull. Okay, and let's go back to this odds page. We have a 9. It opens at 9 at slightly. We're talking a 2-cent move to the over, and then all of a sudden we have a big move to the under. It's now -118, so at least a 13-cent move towards the under. And we have a 2-cent move towards the Royals. All right. DX Filer says, all right, I've seen enough in here. I'm betting the Royals for 2 units. David Sharp says, Royals first 5 plus 105. Royals hit Turnbull at a good clip, and Detroit can't hit left-handed pitching. So I don't fully understand at what angle I can possibly take money out of my wallet and bet on this game. How can you have confidence in anything that you've read here? You have the market going to the under. You have a 2018 first rounder who couldn't make it through an inning against the White Sox, the toughest team to go up against, and now he goes up against the worst. Maxwell Smart Mr. Gokes is going no run first inning. And Paco Healy says last week of August, week 1 of NCAA football in Vegas, can't beat it. Yeah, I love that, Paco. I'm very, very interested in that. Extremely interested in that. David Sharp says they say you can't catch a falling knife, and Royals can't win for the life of them at the moment. I'd love that, Paco. I'd absolutely love that. That's when we went to Miami, was that for that same time period. CT Bay says neither starter going to pitch into the 6th. These pens I don't trust. I agree with that completely. And Matty I says, trust me, I live and breathe Tigers baseball. He says, anytime the Tigers are a favorite, you fade them. I agree, but this is really a pick'em. So I don't want to sit here at 1:10 p.m. and have my palms leaking looking at Daniel Lynch and Spencer Turnbull and having any legitimate expectations out of them. And I can't move on it. Let's go to 1:40 p.m. Eastern. And look, I'm not just going to give out plays for fun. I need to make money. This is enjoyable capping with you guys, but we're not going to play make-believe, and I'm not going to throw out plays that I'm not going to bet. All right. Jerry Beatty says, going to the off-track today, any horse picks out there? David Trump says, Lynch is their number one pitching prospect. He isn't going to be a bum forever. Like you said, he went up against teams who rake left-handed pitching. I get it. Okay, let's go. Cardinals, Brewers. This is a beauty. Oh, and Joey Yurkovich says, I'll be on KC minus 1.5. Losing 10 in a row means something. And against a very beatable division team, I want plus odds for this take, of course. Yeah. All right, here we go. Cardinals, 22-15, 10-7 on the road at the Milwaukee Brewers, 20-17, 99 at home. We're at American Family Field in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And the roof, I expect, will be closed, but I could not get that information. I was trying to get that information. DS File says there's nothing wrong with make-believe. Okay. Yes, Nilo, much love to you, my friend. Thank you very much. Very kind. Thank you for your support here. All right, let's roll. What a beauty we have here. Jack Flaherty at Corbin Burns. See, Mr. Gokser, I'd probably be the opposite. We know what. Look, I'd probably focus on first five, but I kind of like Turnbull at home in the past. It's just a horrifying game. Flaherty, Corbin Burns. What a beauty this is. Now, Corbin Burns coming off COVID, and we certainly saw that in his last start. So let's see if I can get any more. How long was he out with COVID? Says he tested positive for COVID, but is ready. So it's a positive COVID test. He was asymptomatic. So he felt nothing. So, okay, that's an important note. That is a very important note. CT Base says, I like the Cardinals full game because no hater. Flaherty versus the Brew Crew. This total opened up at 7, is now at 6.5. Burns opened up as a minus 120 favorite. There's been a 16-cent move towards Corbin Burns. Flaherty, 6-0, 2.83 ERA, 0.94 whip, 41 and a third, 42 Ks, 11 walks, 3 home runs. In his last start, 7 innings, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks, and a 5-0 win at home over the Rockies. Whenever Flaherty's on the mound, these Cardinals win. They have confidence when they see him on the bump. Burns, 2-2, 1.53 ERA, 0.55 whip, 29 and a third, 49 Ks, 0 walks, 1 home run. 49 Ks and 0 walks for Corbin Burns. Last start, 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned runs, 0 home runs, 0 walks, 9 Ks in an 8-0 loss at home to the Marlins. Cardinals versus righties, 220, 673 OPS. Brewers versus righties, 205, 629 OPS. Cardinals bullpen, 3.83 ERA, 1.28 whip. They've converted successfully 12 of 14 save opportunities. This Brewers bullpen without Hader now has a 4.05 ERA, 1.29 whip, and they've converted 10 of 15 save opportunities. Let's go to batter versus pitcher and see what we are dealing with. Flaherty, they're hitting 208 with a 635 OPS against them. 208 with a 635 OPS against them. 11 hits and 53 at-bats. Corbin Burns, 254, 858 OPS against them. Carpenter's hit him for 2 home runs. Goldschmidt's hit him for 2 home runs. Carlson has a home run against them. DeYoung has a home run against them. Arenado just won for 4 against them. Why don't we take a look at the lineup that the Cardinals are trotting out? We don't have a confirmed lineup. Let me hit this again. And we still don't have a confirmed lineup. Too bad. Okay. Let's see. The expected: Edmund, Carlson, Goldschmidt, Arenado, Molina, O'Neill, Sosa, Bader. For the Brew Crew, Wong, Kane, Vogelbach, Shaw, Garcia, Bradley, Urias, and Pena. Well, Hectic Hedgehog, best bet of the day. Come on, my friend. Yes, I still need to get through the card before I can confidently give out the best bet of the day. Ibn Sharp says, I don't think you can take the stats versus Burns into context. He says he switched his fastball to a cutter 2 years ago and is not the same guy. Paco Healy says, if you or me get COVID, we ride it out. If Burns gets COVID, he gets daily IVS, oxygen, hyperbaric chambers, Wagyu, grass-fed beef, and a masseuse. He's right. He is right. And Max looking at Harrison Bader over a half base at plus 125. Okay. Pre says Burns 2 more Ks without a walk to break Kenley Jansen's record. I played first 5 under 3 at minus 104. First 5 under 3. Has it moved to 3? Has it really moved to 3? Let's take another look at this. Wow. 3 is very, very low. And if you look at the batters versus pitchers, and I understand exactly what Sharpie's saying, that you can't take the stats versus Burns into context, but you can understand that Burns was taken out of his rhythm. He was having a spectacular start to the year, and then he had to sit out due to COVID and couldn't be around the team. Fly in here. Okay. There's sharp money in the house. So we have a closed roof. We have the Cardinals hitting 220, 673 OPS versus righties. Brewers 205, 629 OPS righties. So no one hits righties hard. Hectic Hedgehog is on the Raptors Bulls under 221 and a half. CT Bay says Goldie going to hit a bomb today. Well, I tell you what, with Corbin Burns getting out of his rhythm, going up against a team that knows they can hit him, going up against a team that knows Corbin Burns is going to stay in the strike zone because he has 0 walks, means that you can swing away at Corbin Burns. Jack Flaherty has been good this year, but he's always been much better at home than he has been on the road. Joseph Gomez, I love it. So with all that being said, I think we can get to 3 runs in this game in the first 5. Let's see what the juice would be associated with here. If I took this first 5 over 3, it's a minus 110. There's just no vig. We have Cardinals batters that know to swing away. We have Flaherty, whom we know is better at home than he's on the road. And we have a total first 5 at 3 with no vig. And my first bet of the day is in. First 5 over 3 at minus 110. All right. We move on. 2:10 p.m. Eastern is next up. Minnesota Twins at Chicago White Sox. Let's go. And CT Base and Cards play like Game 7 of the World Series when Flaherty is on the mound. Minnesota Twins 12-22, 6-11 on the road at Chicago White Sox, 21-13, 11-6 at home. We're at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. 62 Fahrenheit clear, 5 miles per hour in. What a pitching matchup we have for us here. Michael Pineda versus Lance Lynn. Pineda. Lynn, this is another beauty pitching matchup. Let's go. Get this. I'm going to lose my shit if this fly stop fucking with me. Okay. The first 5 total is at 4. Let's go to full game money lines and totals and see what we are dealing with. God, I love that. We got Flaherty Burns at 140, then at 2:10 p.m. Pineda Lynn. Let's go. So this was originally slightly juiced to the over 7.5 at Penny. It's now quite heavily juiced to the under 7.5. So a big move towards the under. The Bulldog, Lance Lynn, opening at minus 130, is now at minus 129. So a 1 cent move towards the Twinkies. Nothing to take in here. And Matt S. is just best bet of the day over in KC Detroit game. It's going to be a batting practice. I don't know, Maddie. I mean, look, the stats are certainly telling you that. But there's other things at play that aren't telling you that. I'm certainly not going up against you. But you have a 2018 first rounder in Lynch, number one prospect in the organization, who went up against the best left-handed hitting team in the league and now gets to go up against the worst. And Matty Ice says even in batting practice, they don't hit the ball. Okay. Bama Boy says Twins look dead in the water. Sox trying to put the Twins away early. Let's go. Twinkies 12-22, 6-11 on the road. White Sox 21-13, 11-6 home. We're guaranteed rate field. Pineda 2-1, 2.43 ERA, 0.96 WHIP, 33 in the third, 32 Ks, 7 walks, and 6 home runs allowed. In his last start, he went 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 5 Ks, and a 4-3 extra inning loss at home versus the Rangers. Lance Lynn 3-1, 1.52 ERA, 0.98 WHIP, 29 and 2/3, 35 Ks, 8 walks, 2 home runs. In his last start, he went 5 innings, allowed 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 4 walks, 6 Ks, and a 9-1 win at the Royals. The Twins do a lot wrong. One thing they do okay so far in this young season is they hit righties, 243, 742 OPS. White Sox first righties, 247, 710 OPS. Twins bullpen has been a garbage fire. And a joke that Mike Richards was selling is that you can smell the sweet smell of garbage fire coming from the school in Parkdale. White Sox bullpen, 3.81 ERA. So much, much better than his Twins bullpen, 5.13 ERA, 1.42 WHIP, converted 5 of 12 save opportunities. White Sox, 3.81 ERA, 1.32 WHIP, converted 6 of 13 save opportunities. David Sharp says you're on the over 3, -110 Brewers first 5, yet you are saying the Cards get to Burns. If so, would the Cards team total first 5 be the play? I'd also like the opportunity for the Brewers to get a run or two to help. I do think that the 6-0 record for Flaherty is not quite as good as he has pitched. And I do think that Flaherty's a little more vulnerable on the road than at home. So at this point, I'm not going to pick which team. But I can and I don't want to double up on it. But I get what you're saying, Sharpie. And there's only -110 VIG to have both teams. So that's my thoughts there. All right, let's go. CDB says Twins have given up 29 runs in the last 3 games. Let's see what we are dealing with batter versus pitcher here in this Twinkie spot. Against Pineda, 304, 873 OPS. Wow. And against Lance Lynn, 314, 929 OPS. Ooh-wee. This total moving towards the under. So I am always hesitant to expect a lot of runs in a baseball game the 12 hours later after a really high-scoring night game. So that's the first thing. They score a ton of runs last night, and then they come in the afternoon, and we expect it just to start up again. But I can't take the under 7.5, and I understand the market moved towards them. I can't take the under 7.5 when you see how these batters are faced this pitcher, what they've done against them. Then we move on to first 5. I mean, is this a first 5 where we think these guys are vulnerable enough, or do we think this becomes a really intense pitching matchup? I can tell you one thing we do have is confirmed lineups. So let's go there, see if anyone's being rested. With the Twinkies, you have Arraez, Donaldson, Polanco, Cruz, Larnach, not sure how that's pronounced. Their young left fielder, Garver, Kepler, Astudillo, and Garlic. The White Sox, Anderson, Lamb, Moncada, Abreu, Eaton, Vaughn, Collins, Garcia, and Hamilton. So this becomes, and CD Basic, no Mercedes, and Grandal in the Sox lineup. Mike Macklem says wind in, take the under. It's not a lot of wind. Twins bats iced up, and don't see Sox overachieving today. Mr. Gokes are leaning towards the White Sox first 5. I cannot sit here with an angle that I'm really comfortable with and I really believe in. I agree with the sentiment that the White Sox are trying to put away the Twins. I completely agree with that sentiment, but I don't have enough confidence in one spot. And the fact that, these guys in a pretty small sample size, other than Andrelton Simmons, who's not in the lineup, right? So Andrelton Simmons not in the lineup. He's the only guy who's really seen Lance Lamb. So if you take Andrelton Simmons out of this Twins lineup, they've only had 14 at-bats against Lance Lynn. That gives me a little more confidence. There's our guy, Fat Wally, who's been struggling and fighting back against COVID, and we love him so much. Thank you so much for jumping in the chat, Fat Wally, man. Sending you so much love and energy, and great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Cameron Montoya says White Sox are being straight cash, though. Yeah, you know what? I guess I've changed a little bit from my thinking here. I guess now when I realize that it's just Andrelton Simmons who's seen him the most, that, wow. And a couple books have moved this first 5 total down to 3.5. A bunch of books have. Pinnacle's even moved it down to 3.5. Wow, 3.5? You're right. I am almost always on Lance Lynn. I love him. But this Pineda is a difficult pitcher. This is extremely interesting. 3.5. And then Maddie says Twins really have done nothing against Lance Lynn. Let's just take another look of this again. So they're 4. So we take the Andrelton out of the lineup. They're 4 for 14 with 2 doubles. Then are the White Sox the play? Certainly not at minus 140. And I certainly don't want to. That's the first 5. I certainly don't want to have to take them to minus a half. So I have to stay off this spot. I fear that the White Sox, who smashed lefties so hard, only have a 710 OPS versus righties, and now they have Pineda. Mr. Ghost says double up spot for White Sox, and Puzzler says I'm going to take Minnesota. So, all right, moving on. Those are the afternoon games, and just one spot for me on the afternoon card, coming off a 7-2 day and not reaching. First 5 over 3 at minus 110 is my only look. That's in the Cardinals Brew Crew game. That's Flaherty, Corbin Burns, and see, Priest says White Sox rolling money line minus 127. Yeah, I get it. Again, we've been doing a couple different things, and you guys have seen me struggle in the years past in MLB. Struggles, putting it mildly. And we're having a good year so far. Good year. Just not very, but just good. 97 and 80. And when everything lines up to have a correlate, you see all these different things correlate together and line up, we move. And when some things don't, I've been staying off, and it's been working for us. Let's move on to night action. We start at 6:35 p.m. Eastern. San Francisco Giants at Pittsburgh Pirates. Giants are 22-14, and Joe Yurkovich just locked in St. Louis, Milwaukee. First inning run at plus 140. Oh, Joey, baby. Oh, that's a hit. Giants 22-14, 8-10 on the road. Pittsburgh Pirates 15-21, 6-9 at home. We're in PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 63 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 6 miles per hour sideways. Slightly out to right field, we have Anthony Disclafani, 2-1, 2.40 ERA, 0.94 whip, 41 in the third, 36 Ks, 10 walks, 4 home runs. In his last start, he went 5 in the third. He allowed 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 3 Ks, and a 5-4 win at home versus the Padres. Then we have Will Crow, and I was like, is this guy some stud young pitcher coming up? And I went on the Baseball Reference. Nah, this guy is a journeyman. Of course, he's a journeyman bum. He's wearing black and yellow on a baseball diamond. You have to clear baseball diamond because, Steelers, they're no bums. And I'm not a Steelers fan, but look, I just know they're no bums. Will Crow, 0-1, 4.02 ERA, 1.34 whip, 50 and 2/3, 12 Ks, 9 walks, 1 home run. In his last start, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 0 home runs allowed, 1 walk, 5 Ks, and 3 loss at the Cubs. He looked pretty good. Giants versus righties, 223, 711 OPS. Pirates versus righties, 235, 662 OPS. The Giants bullpen, 4.16 ERA, 1.28 whip. They've converted successfully 14 of 23 save opportunities. The Pirates bullpen, 4.06 ERA, 1.18 whip. They've successfully converted 6 of 7 save opportunities. Mr. Gokster is on Pittsburgh score first. Pittsburgh team total over 3.5 at plus money. Says book it, bank it, Jack. David Sharp is on Pirates win total over 59, going to cash in by the All-Star break if this keeps up. That's a great bet. Robert Allen says got the Giants big here today. DC, Bucks have won last 6 versus San Francisco coming off a loss. Mr. Gokster says just take a look at the numbers for Disclafani. for Pitt. It's unreal. And this is another spot where we see a pitcher who's looked very good in a ballpark that works for him in San Francisco. Deep ballpark. And we now see him on the road. Do we trust the 2.40 ERA, 0.94 whip that we're looking at? Or do we think he's more along the lines of what the Pirates have done to him? And they've hit 389 with a 1.096 OPS. They are 37 for 95. 13 of those 37 hits are for extra bases. And that means that we have to trust Will Crowe. I don't want to do that. So if I think that Will Crowe could be somewhat vulnerable, even though the Giants haven't seen him because I think he's just a journeyman, and I think that Disclafani can get touched, let's go over to the market to see if there's any value on the over. This first 5 is sitting at 4. Just 4. First 5 is sitting at 4. Then we go to full game. Full game here, we have this total opening at 8, and that's dropped to 7.5. 63 Fahrenheit. It's a sideways wind out to right field. There's Guillermo Zertucci in the house. Very interesting spot. So this total from 8 has gone down to 7.5. Let's see what Pinnacle has done with this first 5 total. Move to first 5. And they're not giving me information here. Let's go to Bookmaker. Bookmaker, first 5 total here. Opened at 4.5. Heavily juiced to the under at minus 129. It lasted there for 6 minutes. Wow. There's Boston Nick. What is happening? We got our Boston Nick in the house. God. Are you telling me that Disclafani and Will Crowe are going to get through 5 innings without allowing more than 3 runs combined? I find that pretty difficult to believe. Cameron Montoya says a lot of money coming in on the under, never a good thing. You're right. He's absolutely right. Cameron Montoya has nailed it. If there wasn't a ton of money coming in on the under, I would be on the first 5 over 4. And I still don't dislike it. But it's not lining up. Even if it was a tiny bit of money, even if there was a small move to the under. Robert Allen says take the over 3 in that. No, it'd be a 4. And David Trump says Pirates first 5 taking lots of money, just move 10 cents. Earl Sports, that's crazy. How can Washington be plus 140 to win the series? Come on. How's that possible? Earl Sports, come on. Sorry, we have to stop everything here for a second. I don't have a. Washington to win the Cup. Oh, and the Bruins the same, both 12-1. Can't plus 140. Come on, you got to show where that book is. Puzzler says I'll take Pittsburgh first 5 over at plus 136 and did. You're telling me that Crowe and Disclafani are going to allow 3 or less? Oh, no worries, Robert. I did say 3 because it's at 4. You get to that push, and then you're just playing with the house's money. Okay. Mr. Gosa says, love it. I'm on the over. Viper says total has gone under in 4 Pittsburgh's last 5 games and playing at home versus San Francisco. Okay, I'm not moving, but I'll just leave it as a lean to the first 5 over. But then, I need 5 runs. Do I expect 5 runs? Okay. Sorry. Pittsburgh first 5. Pittsburgh first 5 is what you're saying. Okay, sorry. With Disclafani over Crowe. Yeah, sorry, Pittsburgh first 5. Okay, let's move on here. That was Giants Pirates. And I just have to leave that as a lean and with question marks, so I don't make a move on it. All right, we move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. New York Yankees at Tampa Bay Rays. Yankees 20-16, 9-7 on the road. Tampa Bay Rays 19-19, 7-12 at home. We're at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Jameson Taillon, 1-2, 5.02 ERA, 1.12 WHIP, 28 230, 34 K, 6 walks, 7 home runs in his last start. 6 1/3, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 homers, 1 walk, 5 Ks, and 11-4 loss at home versus the Nats. And then we have Rich Hill on the bump, and you guys know my affinity for Richard Hill. He's had a bad year this year. He's cost me money. 1-1, 5.17 ERA, 1.12 WHIP, 31 1/3, 32 Ks, 10 walks, 5 home runs. In his last start, he went 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, and a 2-1 loss at Oakland. David Sharp saying Pirates first 5 totals 1.5. That's appealing. Matty Ice says, Jimmy, here's your spot with your all-time favorite pitcher, Mr. Rich Hill. I wouldn't go that far. I have no respect for soft tossers. Actually, I love Maddox. But. All right. Richard Hill. Last start against an Oakland team that we know hits lefties hard. 6 innings, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, and a 2-1 loss at Oakland. Yankees are hitting lefties hard. 260, 781 OPS. Rays versus righties just 219, 670 OPS. I wish the Yankees weren't hitting lefties as hard as they are. Yankees bullpen being very good. 2.71 ERA, 1.02 WHIP. They've converted 11 of 12 save opportunities successfully. Rays bullpen 3.78 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. They've converted 12 of 18 save opportunities. Jesus. Joseph Gomez says FanDuel has Bruins minus 138, Washington plus 112 for the series. That's crazy. That's nuts. That's crazy. Pub Sports says you know deep in your heart that the Bruins are the... Look, that's just nuts to me. Richard Kikuchi, man. No, it's okay. Rays bullpen 3.78 ERA, 1.25 WHIP. Converted 12 of 18 save opportunities. Let's go to batter versus pitcher here. Taillon, only Phillips and Margot have seen him. They're 1 for 9 against them. I don't care about that. This is what made me a little uncomfortable, is that the Yankees are hitting 282 with a 787 OPS, but Stanton's 1 for 6. So the big bats in this Yankees lineup have either not hit him or not seen him. David Sharp says, love to fade some Rich Hill. Yankees first 5 team total over. Let's go to the market and see what we are dealing with. Here we go. Yankees, Rays. We have the Yankees opening up at minus 130. They've now moved to minus 129. 1 cent move towards the Rays. This total opened up at 8.5 and has dropped down to 8. Okay, North Ender, let's stop messing around, all right? Habs minus 350. That's crazy, Viper. That's nuts. What do you tell? Okay, I can't even get into this. Okay, sorry, I'm throwing for a loop. I mean, pick them at worst. Okay. Do I want to back Rich Hill against a Yankees team that's smashing lefties when I know Rich Hill is pitching better? Sort of. I sort of do. I think Taillon's vulnerable, but the Rays don't hit righties hard. But if you're going to sit here and give me a plus line on the first 5 when I know Rich Hill's pitching much better, well, I'm going to have to take it. I think Taillon's vulnerable. I don't trust Taillon out there. So I'm going to have to move on this now. Let's just see what it is at Bet365 very quickly. It is plus 120 first 5. Well, I'm going to take it. Tampa Bay Rays first 5 at plus 120. All right, that's my second move on this card. Let's go. I'm putting 500 on Washington. Well, we need to make sure Ovechkin's healthy and good to go, but that's crazy. All right, let's move on to 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics at Boston Red Sox. Athletics 23-15. And Nilo has sports direction, Caps to win the series with +2 or 3. Sounds like a good bet. Look, we need to dive into it deeper. And I'm not going to make a bet on the series because I've got the Caps at 16-1 to win the Cup and 22-1 to win the Cup. David Sharp says, I'm on Yankees first 5 -1/2 at +105. The first 5 team total over 2.5 at +115. Yankees are a bet on team going 9-2 last 11. Look, I hear that. Turnsey has 2,500 on it. Turnsey, are you surprised that the Bruins would be this big of favorites? Wow, this is just wild. Very, very, very interesting. Like a team with Taylor Hall is going to succeed in the playoffs. Taylor Hall is more likely to have his face stepped on by a teammate's hockey skate in warm-ups than hold the Stanley Cup over his head. Let's go A's, Red Sox. Sean Manaea, 3-1, 3.07 ERA, 1.07 whip, 41 innings, 43 Ks, 8 walks, 4 home runs. In his last start, he went 7 1/3, allowed 2 hits, 1 earned run, 0 home runs, 1 walk, 10 Ks, and a 2-1 win at home versus the Rays. Garrett Richards, 2-2, 4.54 ERA, 1.46 whip, 35 2/3, 34 Ks, 15 walks, 4 home runs. In his last start, 7 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 5 Ks, and an 11-6 win at the Orioles. Look, Nick, you didn't really think the Bruins were going to win the Cup this year after watching them play all season and picking up the Taylor Hall. Come on. The GOAT analyst. The GOAT analyst, I'll tell you what, it's a problem that has come. The GOAT analyst has a very interesting question, and we'll get into it quickly. It's a mistake I've been making, not loosening up my bets a little more. There are certain situations that are so easy, and I haven't been betting them. I do think I've been keeping, just because of my volume being so high, I've been keeping everything the same. And I have different, one unit is different in MLB than it is in NHL and NBA and college sports. But I think that you should. It has to be less than 5% of the time. But if you feel really confident in the situation, that you should be able to add a unit. So I do. Okay. So Garrett Richards, and in our head, we have that gas station look on Garrett Richards and him saying that he was he created the Chinese food, the hot Chinese food garbage. So I believe that's garbage in the sun in the back of a Chinese food restaurant. I'm not entirely sure what Gas was trying to get at. But that's what he called Garrett Richards. And Garrett Richards is being a little better than that. A's versus righties, 207, 653 OPS. Red Sox smash lefties, 271, 758 OPS. A's bullpen, 3.75 ERA, 1.26 whip. Red Sox bullpen is getting worse and worse as the days go on. 3.84 ERA, 1.29 whip. They opened up very, very good. Neil says Sean Manaea has won his last 6 starts for the A's. Viper says Dole's gone under in 5 of Boston's last 6 games. All right, well, let's look at baseball data, and then we'll go over to the odds page. Manaea and the A's, 50 at-bats against them. They're 12 for 50 with 2 extra base hits, 240 with just a 603 OPS, the Red Sox against them. Garrett Richards, they're hitting 243, 633 OPS against them. That's interesting. You'd think that they would hit him harder, and these A's don't. They don't. Yeah, go down. Let's make sure it's just under 5% of the time. But it's a mistake I've been making as well. I used to do it all the time. I used to pick my spots and absolutely hammer them, but that was when my volume was much lower. Okay. Let's take a look at this A's Red Sox marketplace here. This first 5 total is at 5. Let's go to full game money lines and totals and see what sort of market moves that we are dealing with here. We have this total opening up at 9.5. It's now down to 9, and money coming in on Garrett Richards. Really? And it's because the Red Sox hit lefties so hard, and that we probably shouldn't trust Manaea, even though we know Manaea is so much better than Garrett Richards. Garrett Richards' last start at the Orioles, allowed 8 hits and 4 earned runs, but he made it through 7 innings. And the A's just aren't hitting righties hard enough. I would like to bet on Manaea, but I can't. I can't do it. Robbie Allen says Manaea going to lose today. All right, let's move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Texas Rangers. North Ender says I would say no more than 2 units ever, but having 1 and 2 unit places, why just keep track of it's not adding up after a month, go back to regular. Yeah, I agree. That makes sense. And Brian Watson says Leafs win cup lock. I cannot believe the Bruins are that big favorites against the Capitals. That's just throwing me for a total loop. Rangers 18 and 29 and 10 on the road. Astros 20 and 17, 11 9 at home. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. In Houston, Texas, but we're against the Astros. I wanted to see. I couldn't get the information that I was looking for on the roof. I should be able to now. Let me pull up that blog. It wasn't available before the show started, and here it is. Okay, there we go. Copy. Let's find out about this roof right now. It is imperative. And the roof is open. Wow, that is very, very important information. You have to think the Astros can get to 40, and yet this total has gone to 9 at Pinnacle. Of course, the Sharps are hammering it at 9. Of course they are. But why bother expecting Javier to get hit? He got hit in his last start versus the Jays. But the Rangers are a much weaker lineup. If that is the situation, then Foltynewic's last start, he went 6 2/3, 6 hits, 4 runs allowed, 2 home runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks, and 5-4 loss at home versus the Mariners. I mean, he's getting hit in that Texas Rangers ballpark with the roof on. What's going to happen when the roof is open in Houston? Javier, 3-1, 2.90 ERA, 1 whip, 31 innings, 38 Ks, 12 walks, 3 homers, coming off a bad start. The Rangers are hitting righties pretty nice, 241, 721 OPS. Oh, God, Robert Allen, I hope so. Please tell me that happens. Astros versus righties, 249, 742 OPS. Rangers bullpen, 3.82 ERA. Astros bullpen, 3.92 ERA. So why not just focus on the Astros alone to get to 40? And the first 5 not available in team totals, which is such bullshit. The Astros over 4.5 at -135. I don't hate that, Steve Priest, and I really don't like the Oilers, but they've impressed me last little bit. Molly Mouse says, who's the Avs backup goalie? Well, right now, Dubnyk has COVID, so he's out, but he will be there back. Right now, it's Jonas Johansson, but it will be Dubnyk as soon as he gets back from COVID. Well, I think there's going to be runs here. And I want that 8.5 with the roof open. Nice night. Not too hot, but the ball sails when that roof is open. Okay, so I'm going to make a move on the over. And in case Javier looks good, I'd be fine if the Astros get a nice lead and put in their weaker bullpen parts. So I want that 8.5. I'm going to take the over 8.5 here. And Rangers, Astros. All right, let's move on to Reds, Rockies, 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Reds, and we're going to jump into NBA right after this. Reds, 17-17, 7-10 on the road. The Colorado Rockies, 13-24, 11-10 at home. We're at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. 74 Fahrenheit, 7 miles per hour sideways in. We have Luis Castillo, and who is this man on the bump? He's certainly not the ace of yesteryear. 1-4, 6.42 ERA, 1.63 WHIP, 33 2/3, 26 Ks, 10 walks, 5 home runs allowed. In his last start, he only made it through 4 innings at Cleveland, a team that doesn't hit hard. They have one bat you've got to stay away from, and he gets hit for 5 hits, 6 runs, 4 of them earned, no homers, 2 walks, just 2 Ks in the 9-2 loss at Cleveland. We have Chichi Gonzalez on the other side, 1-1, 5.97 ERA, 1.57 WHIP, 28 2/3, 15 Ks, 10 walks, 3 home runs. I don't want to sit here and say, oh, watch this, we're going to pick the spot when Castillo gets right. I don't want to play that game. But, man, Chichi looked awful. 4 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 1 K, and a 9-8 loss at St. Louis. Reds versus righties, 257, 781 OPS. They're hitting righties hard, and now they get to come into Colorado. Rockies versus righties, 233, 678 OPS. Reds bullpen, 5.35 ERA, 1.37 WHIP. They're bad. Rockies bullpen bad, too. Even worse. Small lower ERA at 5.26, but that WHIP at 1.57, they're bad. All right, well, let's go first to the market in the Cincinnati spot. This total opened up at 10.5. It's now at 11. Castillo and the Reds opened up at minus 125. They're now minus 134. God, I know that this was a travel spot, but that doesn't usually affect the team until the second day, something that David Sharp has talked about. And let's go to batter versus pitcher here. Against very small sample size with full team Javier, but against Castillo, 289, 1.028 OPS. They hit him hard. And against Chichi, 357, 1.043 OPS. Wow. Brian Watson's on the over 11. You know, it feels like the Reds can just continue their offensive run that they've been on and take care of business. Now, I know it took the extra inning to get to that win yesterday. There's Birdie in the house. Great to see you, my friend. Bleds W's on first 5 minus a half with the Reds. I want full game. If I know my lineup is so much better than the Rockies lineup, then I don't want to cut it down to a half, especially if it's Castillo on the mound, who I don't know if I can trust right. Birdie, what do you think of the Bruins being at minus 140 to win the series against the Capitals? So I think this Reds at minus 1 just makes a ton of sense. Very simple look here. David Sharp says they only have 10 at-bats versus Chichi, but they're hitting 257, 781 OPS versus righties, and Chichi's a weak pitcher. And now they get to go into the thin air, and I think they can, we've seen what Winker and these guys are doing. Thank you, G, my man. Thank you so much. Very kind. Max says everyone in the Reds lineup gets at least 2 bases today. If I miss Birdie's reply, I would like to let me know. Okay, Reds minus 1. I think that's the most simple move here, because would it blow your mind if Castillo finds himself against this Rockies lineup that's hitting 233, 678 OPS versus righties? Would it be a huge shocker if this final score was 8-2 or 8-3 and it was a push? So who hits him? Blackman 3 for 6 with a homer. Yeah, okay, so that's all I'm going to do. Going to keep it simple. Reds minus 1, full game. We move on to 9:40 p.m. We got 2 games left on the card. Got only a 12-game card, and it's just taking me so long to break this down. Thank you guys so much for joining us here at Pub Sports Radio. Betting with the Bag, 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Miami Marlins 16-28 and 11 on the road at Arizona Diamondbacks 17-20, 8-6 at home at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. 99 Fahrenheit, clear, 5 miles per hour sideways, and roof is open. Yeah, Birdie, for the series. Roof is open. Trevor Rogers, Merrill Kelly. Trevor Rogers 4-2, 1.89 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, 38 innings, 50 Ks, 15 walks, 2 home runs. In his last start, he went 5 innings on 4 hits, 1 earned run, 0 homers, 2 walks, 6 Ks, 6-1 win at home to the Brewers. Merrill Kelly has not looked good this year, but he's coming off a much better performance against the Mets. Overall this year, 2-3, 5.40 ERA, 1.46 WHIP, 38 and a third, 30 Ks, 14 walks, 6 home runs. In his last start, he went 5 2/3, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned runs, 1 home run, 5 walks, 6 Ks, and a 4-2 loss to the Mets. Marlins versus righties, just 228, 661 OPS. And the D-backs destroy lefties, 254, 831 OPS. Marlins bullpen 3.34 ERA, 1.09 WHIP are much, much better than the Diamondbacks bullpen at 5.07 ERA, 1.49 WHIP. I know that a lot of people are going to be on Miami here. They opened up at minus 108. They're now minus 124. I get it. And first 5 is where I would want to focus. And first 5, let's see what kind of moves we've had at bookmaker. First 5, Miami opens up at minus 118 and it's now minus 140. Well, I'll tell you what. I think that there is value on Merrill Kelly at home against this weak Marlins lineup. I really do. I think Trevor Rogers is very sneaky. He's a soft tosser. But with this roof open and the ball flying out against this Diamondbacks team that's hitting 254, 831 OPS versus lefties. Beautiful Anthony Mastronardi, we love you, my man. Thank you for joining us. So I want the Diamondbacks first 5 at plus money, and I have no reason to make this bet now as long as money keeps coming in on the Marlins. which I expect to happen. When you look at Rogers with a 1.89 ERA and Merrill Kelly with a 5.40 ERA, Mr. Gokster says tough to trust Merrill. I get it, but he knows how to pitch in the stadium. He's comfortable pitching the stadium at 100 degrees. Trevor Rogers is not. And you have a Diamondbacks lineup that's hitting 254 with an 831 OPS versus lefties against the Marlins lineup that's hitting 228, 661 OPS versus righties. And you're going to give me a plus number. And we know that Merrill Kelly was, arguably the best pitcher on the staff last year or over the last 2 years. So this is a spot for me to back. And Matty Ice says, I'm with you, Jimmy. Diamondbacks is value. Yes, and I just want to stick to first 5. And I'm not in a rush to bet it. Steve Priest says Rogers has a 1.09 whip and 12.3 strikeouts per 9 and 4 road starts this season. Yeah. Now let's see what he does in 100-degree weather. Look, I get it. Steve Priest, he's been excellent. And huge amounts of money in the public is going to be all over Rogers. I'm not going to be one of them. I see this as a nice opportunity for a first 5 bet on the plus line, and I'm going to move on. I agree. David Sharp, this is a bet that will be made, 9 hours from now. Diamondbacks first 5. And Matt S says, I really like the Diamondbacks as well. I think it's a really nice spot. We move on to 10:10 p.m. Cleveland Indians at Seattle Mariners. Oh, did we go over daily baseball data for the last one? Just check very quickly. They haven't seen Rogers, which obviously helps Trevor. And only 9 at-bats against Merrill Kelly. Now, Brian Anderson has hit a home run, and Rojas has hit a home run off him. Look, that's not good. But I just think that there's a really nice value spot there. All right, let's go here against the final spot on the card. Indians, Mariners. Indians 20-14, 10-7 on the road. Mariners 18-18, 9-8 at home. T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. I expect the roof to be closed. Zach Plesac, 2-3, 3.83 ERA, 1.03 whip, 40 innings, 31 Ks, 7 walks, 4 home runs. His last start, he went 8 strong, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 7 Ks. He looked like a boss out there. 3-0 loss at home versus the Reds. And then I thought it was going to be Chris Flexen. Do we have confirmation that it's Logan Gilbert? I believe that we do. So I have Flexen's information. I saw that it was going to be Logan Gilbert, and I made a last-minute move to get Logan Gilbert's information. Here we go. 6'6", 24-year-old Logan Gilbert out of Wekiva High School in Florida. Did go to Stetson University. Was a first-round pick, 14th overall in the 2018 draft. Let's see his numbers here. And he's had 1 start in Tacoma, went 5 innings, allowed 1 earned run, 4 hits, 5 Ks, 0 walks. In 2019, because he didn't pitch in 2020, obviously, 2019 he went from a high A to single A to double A. Ended up in double A Arkansas for 9 starts. In double A Arkansas, he had a 0.98 whip with an ERA of 2.88. He's a stud, this guy. Joseph Gomez, no, I didn't. Ovechkin would be a hard guy to trap and teabag. It'd be very, very tough. He's a wolf. You'd get hurt. Okay. Steve Priest says Cleveland minus 110 looks like a gift. Earl Sports is on Cleveland. I get it. But Logan Gilbert is a very interesting piece to this puzzle. And also, I don't love that Plesac is not allowed to run in the last 2 starts because he's not been somebody who's been extremely consistent throughout his career. And he's coming off a great start at home versus the Reds, who hit righty so hard. It's so hard not to back Plesac. So hard not to back Plesac. David Trapp says, mental note after what you just said to me, Reds got held in check by soft tossing Plesac. Chi-Chi's a soft tosser. If Reds don't produce today, it's something to keep note of. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Thank you, DC, for the kind thought. All right, so Indians versus righties is 223, 700 OPS. Mariners versus righties, 214, 661 OPS. Indians bullpen 2.61 ERA, 1.14 whip, 11 of 13 save opportunities. Mariners bullpen 3.65 ERA, 1.18 whip, 10 of 18 save opportunities. And Mr. Goser says the Doosan Bears own Chris Flexen. Well, he's not going to be pitching today. It is Gilbert. And let me make sure that that is a complete confirmation here. And it is Logan Gilbert. Okay, so we have the total opened up at first 5 total opened up at 4. It's down to 3.5. And then we have the Plesac and the Indians opening up at minus 130. They're now minus 114, so a market move towards Gilbert. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I am going to have to stay off this question mark that is Logan Gilbert. When you see the market moving towards this young stud against an Indians team that's pretty easy to pitch against, I have to stay off. So there you have the MLB card. Man, that took a long time. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. Let's review action. Again, I've made no bets before the show started, unlike yesterday when we had 7 bets in. Here we go. The dirty K prop is Zach Eflin over 5.5 strikeouts at plus 130. That comes from David Sharp. The Taint play of the day is Corbin K's under 5.5 at minus 125, and says Corbin has not had over 5 Ks all year. And in 38 at bats versus Phillies last year, he only had 4 strikeouts, and all 4 were against these same 2 players. Let's go over to that Corbin spot again here. Corbin, 271, 776 OPS against him. Yeah. Corbin has 30 strikeouts, 118 at bats, but he's been so susceptible this year. Okay. And then my action. I start with the first 5 over 3 in Cardinals Brewers. Then I am on the over 8.5 in Rangers Astros. If that moves to 9 in my book, I might stay off of it. I'm on the Cincinnati Reds minus 1. And then I'm going to be on the Diamondbacks first 5, but I'm going to wait. That is the extent of my action. Not a lot of action. Oh, I'm on the Tampa Rays first 5 plus 120. I knew there was one more there. Okay. There you go. There you have it. Let's jump into NBA together. Right now, we're coming off a tough day. 2-2 down 0.40 units. We had the freshest look. Luka Doncic over 28.5 points. Gobert over 13.5 rebounds. Cash easily. But Dutchie also liked Luka Doncic over 28.5 points. And I chose that over Mavericks first quarter. Thank God I did, because they didn't cover the 2.5. They only won the first quarter by 2. But Ski Profit was on the Mavericks first half, and that cashed by 20. I lost on slow-mo Joe Ingles over 24.5 points, rebounds, and assists. It was a bad bet because it was juiced at minus 125. And I thought I was going to bank it for sure until fucking Jazz put up 9 points in the first 10 minutes of the fourth. And then the Rockets first quarter plus 4.5. You know, as soon as LeBron was not announced in the lineup, I should have pulled it. But it went down to 3.5. I should have pulled it immediately. This whole bet was about them being out of rhythm with LeBron and LeBron needing the ball, and I didn't pull it. So, all right, let's go. We got a lot of work to do in NBA here, not a lot of time. 7 p.m. Eastern, LA Clippers 46-23, 20-13 on the road at the Charlotte Hornets, 33-36, 18-17 at home. We're at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's move over to our odds spot here. And Morton very easily got out of the first inning in the Jays game. Come on, let's go basketball. Here we go. All right, spreads and totals. Let's get to work. Clippers open up as 8.5-point favorites. That's moved to 8. This total opened up at 223.5 and is down to 221.5 or 221. Sharp Money says, I was thinking of you in that quarter. It was a bad bet. I just don't understand why I didn't pull it. Why I was just a deer in the headlights. I could have easily. I mean, obviously I would have. But yeah, no, I could have easily taken the other side at 3.5. It was a mistake. And 1-0 Atlanta. There you go. 1-0 Atlanta. Probably was the play. Fuck. Clippers past 5. They're 3-2. Their pace is now last in the NBA at 95 possessions a game. Hornets 2-3 over their past 5, 100.20 possessions a game. Clippers are coming off their third win in 4 games, 115-96 at the Raptors in Tampa on Tuesday night. Kawhi goes for 20. George goes for 16. They're playing with no urgency. Terrence Mann also scored 20. Zubac goes for 18 and 10. They are 1 game ahead of the Nuggets in the race for third place in the Western Conference. Both teams have 3 road games to play, and the Nuggets hold the tiebreaker. Patrick Beverley started for the first time since April 8th. Serge Ibaka hasn't played since March 14th due to a back injury. He hopes to play during this road trip, but he's being ruled out for tonight. Charlotte's coming off their second straight loss and third in 4 games, 117-112 at home versus Nuggets on Tuesday night. Despite the loss, the Hornets clinched a spot in the play-in tournament because the Bulls lost to the Nets. Scary Terry Rozier had 43 points in Sunday's loss, added 21 on Tuesday. Graham finished 7 of 14 from 3. And Hayward, Cody Martin, Miles Bridges remain out. Caleb Martin is questionable. PJ Washington, 13 points, 11 rebounds. There is no urgency from this Clipper squad. They're still playing efficient offensively, but I was so confident. Turnsy, I'm starting to think that the Flames are the spot. But I don't really want to go up against Demko. So if I think the Flames are going to play hard, we should probably take the under. But let's get there in a little bit. Steve Priest says, leaning Clippers Hornets under 221.5. I feel like we should have already been on it. Let's see what Bet365 opened this total at. They opened it at 224. I can't take it at 2.5 point swing. So that was a mistake. Can the Clippers keep this game within 8? I think they can. Charlotte Hornets keep this game within 8. I think they can. I agree, Joseph Gomez. It kept me off of a couple spots. Anthony Massinardi, I think it was a bad bet because the whole idea was LeBron being out on the lineup. That's why when he was announced not in the lineup, I could have panicked. Mad S says Flames all day they want, and then the disappointing season with a win. I'm sure they do, but Demko is a very good goaltender, and he's back and comfortable after the COVID spot. So maybe the under is the look. Johnny K says Hornets. Yeah, I feel like the Hornets can keep this within 8. I feel like the Clippers can not have urgency like they've had and win it late. I think the Hornets plus 8 are the look here. And that is my plan. Let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern, Bucks Pacers is next on the docket. Milwaukee opening up as 8.5-point favorites, just like the Clippers, and it's gone down to 8, just like that Clippers game. This total opening up at 243 is now at 244, and Pinnacle's moved it to 244.5. Mal, they're worse than mediocre. Let's just get Benning fired. I don't even care if Travis Green isn't fired, although I'd like him fired. I just need Benning fired. We got the GMMP play of the day. Sabonis over 21.5 points for Teron Hopkins. He's averaging 27.5 in 2 games against the Bucks, 24.6 in his last games. And it's give me my props play of the day from Teron Hopkins. Give me my props play of the day. I think that prop makes a ton of sense. Sharp Money says Pacers got to be the look here. All right, let's break it down. Bucks 44-25, 19-15 on the road. Pacers 33-36, 13-21 at home. We're at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. It was an absolute killer, North Ender. Absolute killer. Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Bucks are 4-1 in their past 5. They're paced fast, 106 possessions a game. Pacers are 3-2, 101.39 possessions a game. Both teams were off last night, and they're playing their 3rd game in 4 nights. A while back, I would think that would cause a slower pace, but what it does cause is just less intensity defensively. Bucks bounce back from their loss to the Spurs on Monday by beating Orlando 114-102 on the second half of their back-to-back. On Tuesday, Giannis goes for 27 points, and the Bucks are still on their chase for the number 2 seed. Life of Von Polo says they don't cover. Milwaukee holds the tiebreaker over the Nets, plays 2 of its final 3 games on the road. Dante DiVincenzo, 19. Lopez, 17. Drew Holiday, 15. They're coming off a 146-125 loss in San Antonio on Monday. It was ugly. And they bounced back nice enough against a weak team. Bobby Portis had 10 points and 15 boards. And important, Milwaukee will increase their fan capacity at Pfizer Forum to 9,000 fans for the playoffs. Pacers are coming off a 103-94 win at home over the Sixers. A Sixers team that was playing without Embiid. Sabonis, 9th triple-double of the season, 16, 15, and 13. Karis LeVert goes for 24, gets 7 boards, 5 assists. Holiday goes for 16. McConnell adds 10. They're now 11-5 on the second half of back-to-backs this year. They're without Malcolm Brogdon, Jeremy Lamb, Edmund Sumner, Miles Turner, and T.J. Warren all remain out, and Aaron Holiday is questionable with a toe injury. So with all that being said, there's not a lot that I want to have anything to do with in this game other than that's a bonus look from Teron Hopkins. I think that makes a ton of sense. I don't want to trust the Pacers here when the Bucks need to get these wins. I just don't want to do it. So that's that. Let's move on to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Orlando Magic at Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks open up as 13-point favorites. Now it's between 13.5 and 14. This total has dropped fast from 227 down to 223. We're at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Magic past 5 are 1-4. Their pace 102.30 possessions a game. Hawks are 4-1 over their past 5. They're 101.90 possessions a game. Magic coming off their 4th straight loss, that 114-102 loss at the Bucks on Tuesday that we were talking about. Cole Anthony at 18 points. Mo Wagner 17 for the Magic. Mo Bamba out with a non-COVID illness, did not play. He's listed as questionable. Chuma Okeke is not going to play again this season with a sprained left ankle. Porter Jr., Ross, Carter Williams, Ennis, all done for the year. Hawks are coming up back-to-back home wins over the Wizards. Latest coming last night in a 120-116 win. They're on the second half of back-to-back. Trae Young goes for 33 points. Young has had at least 30 points in 3 straight games in 5 of his last 7 contests. DeAndre Hunter did not play as the Hawks want to make sure he's fully recovered from that knee injury. So he played 13 and a half minutes but was held out Wednesday. And the Hawks are now 25-11 under Nate McMillan. Anthony Mastroianni says, I don't have the facts to back up the statement, but I feel it's very true. The Pacers give this game to the Bucks, and even the guys on the Pacers want to help out their boy Holiday on the Bucks. Interesting look. Stephen Priest says Atlanta Hawks have won 9 in a row. Yes, they are rolling at home right now. But on the second half of back-to-back, are they going to win by 14 here? Are they? I just think it's too many points, but I don't want to sit here and back the Magic. But it just feels like too many points. So let's just look at this expected lineup here. Let's look at this expected lineup for the Orlando Magic. And now we don't have Okeke either to believe in. Very tricky. Here we go. We have Cole Anthony, Gary Harris, Dwayne Bacon, Moritz Wagner, and Wendell Carter. Don't I have Wendell Carter as... Where is it? Sorry. God, they can keep it. Wow, 2-0 Atlanta now. God, I should have just – the market move was just too big, but I should have just faded Stripling immediately. God, the Magic can keep it within 14, can't they? 14? Do I have 14 in my book? 13.5. Steve Priest said Atlanta clinched the playoff spot last night. Maybe a few pops after the game. I got it. I got to do this. Joseph Gomez says is putting a little plus money spot. Teron Hopkins says pass. I mean, I just are Anthony Mastroianni looking at a possible first quarter here. The first quarter is at 4.5 right now. I'm going to take the Magic here. That's just too many points. Dennis Garcia says McMillan won't win Coach of the Year, but he should. He'll get nominated, though, I believe. Plus 13.5. All right, I'm moving on. Let's move on to 76ers at Miami Heat. Sixers are 47-22, 20-15 on the road. Miami Heat 38-31, 20-15 at home. American Airlines Arena, Miami, Florida. Sixers are 4-1 over their past 5, 22nd in pace at 98.40 possessions a game. Heat are 4-1, 17th in pace at 99.20 possessions a game. Here we go. The Sixers open up as 1-point dogs. They're now 2 or 2.5-point dogs. This total's gone from 218.5 down to 217.5. So that is telling you that Embiid won't be in the lineup. He missed the last game to a non-COVID-19 illness. Sixers had their 8-game winning streak snapped in that 103-94 loss in Indiana. Tobias Harris goes for 27. Ben Simmons goes for 13. They scored just 32 points in the second half against Indiana. It doesn't play defense. Shake Milton probable with a knee injury. Korkmaz probable. Thibault questionable. Johnny K says Heat. Anthony Mastroianni Heat money line. Miami is coming off their third straight win, 129-121 at the Celtics on Tuesday. Tyler Hero scored 24 points. Miami moved into a tie with idle Atlanta for fifth place in the Eastern Conference. Surging Heat won for the 10th time in 13 games. They have 3 games left on the regular season calendar, and Jimmy Butler is questionable. Oladipo done for the year now. What a terrible pickup that was. Life of On Polo says Heat. Sharp Money says Heat heating up at the right time. And you have to think that Embiid won't be in the lineup due to this market move. And, yeah. And Toronto Hopkins says, don't back Sixers on the road with Embiid. Do we need to make sure that Embiid is out of the lineup? I mean, the Heat wouldn't be favored like this if Embiid was going to be in the lineup. And the move towards the Heat tells me that he's not going to be in the lineup. God, it's the screaming Heat. And the last thing you want to do is pass on this illness to anybody else. Keep him beat out. Yeah, Johnny K, done for the year. God, Heat got to be the spot. But obviously we're dealing with a bias after watching how bad the Heat played without Embiid. Oh, without Embiid. So are we saying we expect Embiid to be out of the lineup due to this market move? We're clearly saying that? Okay. All right. Okay, Heat is the spot. Anthony Mastinardi says this is a trifecta moneyline spot for Miami, even if Embiid plays. And Puzzler says makes sense for Philly to preserve Embiid. All right, let's move on to Heat. I'm not going to trifecta it, though. Only one, Bleds. I don't have as many futures in sports than I usually have, but only one. I have the futures for MVP, which are going to be good. Because I got Jokic at 550, but only $50 on it. But I have, just the Sixers to win the East at plus 550. All right, Miami Heat's the spot, and the pace of the Heat has sped up at 99.20 possessions a game. This total is sitting at 217.5 at Pinnacle, so the other books are probably going to follow suit. And I wonder if the unders also has play, but I'm just going to stick with the Heat. All right, let's move on to Spurs. Knicks, Spurs 33, 36, 19, 60 on the road. Knicks 38 and 31, 22 and 11 at home at Madison Square Garden in New York. Spurs are 2 and 3 over the past 5, 11th in pace at 101.10 possessions a game. The Knicks are 2 and 3 over the past 5, 25th in pace at 97.96 possessions a game. And Steve Priest says Miami Heat has gone over 10 in a row. Wow, I didn't know that, Steve. Spurs are on the second half of back-to-back after that 128-116 loss at Brooklyn last night. DeRozan goes for 21. They missed a chance to secure the spot for the play-in tournament. DeJounte Murray had 15 points, 11 boards. Trey Lyles, Derek White both out of the lineup with ankle injuries. Derek White looks like he's done for the year. Lyles could come back for the play-in tournament if they so make it. Knicks are coming home after a 3-3 road trip versus Western Conference teams. They finished with a 101-99 loss in overtime at the Lakers. They lost 3 of their last 4 of those games. Randall, 31 points. Rose, 27. Rose stepping up at the right time. But quickly, Rose and Bullock are all questionable. And this is kind of a tricky spot for New York. Coming back, it's tricky on both ends because you have the Spurs team on the second half of a back-to-back, and then you also have New York flying all the way across the country after that overtime loss and then dealing with bullshit that comes when you have to come home after a long time being away. Anthony Mastinardi says Knicks should be cheap here. Viper says total's gone under in 4 San Antonio's last 5 games when playing on the road against New York. Let's take a look at that total. Sitting at 216.5. I have interest in that. But I'm going to stay off. I think there's too many moving parts here. Teron Hopkins says, no, there is something to play. I mean, they need to clinch that play-in spot. They haven't done that yet. Steve Priest is on that under. I certainly get it. But the Spurs just played a little bit too fast of a pace. Joseph Gomez says Knicks clinched. Give me Spurs. That was my initial thought, Joseph. But I've got cold feet. Turns he's also on the Spurs. I imagine money's going to come in late on the Knicks as well. Well, not if any of Quickly, Rose, and Bullock are out. I'm just going to leave the Spurs as a lean here, and I'm going to sit on this for a little bit. Let's move on to Raptors at Bulls. We got to be quick through these last few games. Raptors at Bulls, United Center, Chicago, Illinois. We want to talk NHL. There's just 3 games on the card. Raptors are 1-4, 19th in pace over their past 5, 98.74. And Dutch Boy Fresh has missed a number with Knicks, waiting to see if Rose and Bullock. Yeah, that makes sense. Raptors 1-4, 19th in pace at 98.74 possessions a game. Bulls are 3-2 with their past 5, 28th in pace at 96.60 possessions a game. Raptors are coming off their 4th straight loss, 115-96 at home versus the Clippers on Tuesday. It was an easy under casher. Bulls had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 115-107 loss at home to Brooklyn on Tuesday. And Bleds W says Spurs plus 5.5 in the under. Brian Watts says Spurs curse all the time. They do. They fucking do. All right, let's see what we are dealing with here in this Bulls spot. Bulls are 10-point favorites. And Pinnacle's moved them to 10.5, so the other books will follow suit. I guess this is a spot where the Bulls just run roughshod with nothing to play for. And Anthony Mastinardi, first half over, full game under. Interesting. Steve Priest says Bulls unders are 8 in a row. And Leafs Habs game 1 not till Thursday, May 20th. Jeez, got to wait another week for that. Crazy. See, Priest says Raptors have been bad 2-8 last 4. Yeah, they're just terrible. But still, do you want to trust the Bulls as this big of a favorite? Let's see who they expect in the lineup because it's a fucking mess when we're talking about the Raptors. So Baines out of the lineup, Watson out of the lineup, Boucher out of the lineup, Anunoby out, Siakam out, Lowry out, Van Fleet out, Rodney Hood out. How do the Bulls not win by double digits? How? Troy Brown questionable. How did the Bulls not put this Raptors team away right off the hop? Six-point favorites for the first half. Shouldn't they just put them away instantly? Bulls first quarter 3.5 is probably too many. There's my guy Stu Boo in the house. God, just feels like the Bulls smash. -6. I could be interested, Turnsy. I've got a playoff pool I'm in already, and Teron Hopkins says Bulls trifecta. Are the Bulls going to play hard early? Bulls first half -6 certainly seems like a spot. And Matt S says Bulls will win this game by double digits. They should, shouldn't they? But I just can't triple up on this team. The Life of Von Polo says Bulls don't care either. They have been eliminated from everything. They could. They don't care. It's true. I don't know what to do here. I don't think it's as easy as it looks. Let's move on to Sacramento Kings at Memphis Grizzlies. Kings past 5, 4-1, 9th in pace at 101.60 possessions a game. Grizzlies 4-1, 20th in pace, 98.60 possessions a game. Ski Profit, what track are you talking about, man? Kings are coming off 2 straight easy home victories over the Thunder on Sunday and Tuesday. Grizz are coming off their 3rd straight win, 133-104 at home over the Mavericks on Tuesday. We have full game here where you have the Grizz 8-point favorites. This total's already gone from 231 down to 228.5. And Mally Mal says over. All right, I want to talk NHL briefly here, and we got a freshest look coming up, so always golf. Golf Ski Profit in the house. 8 p.m. Eastern, we have Denver Nuggets and Minnesota Timberwolves. Nuggets are 45-24, 20-13 on the road. Minnesota Timberwolves 22-47, 12-21 at home. No Mally Mal, no Siakam, none of the bigs, none of the players whose names we recognize are in, except for Gary Trent. Nuggets 2-3 over the past 5, 16th in pace at 99.60 possessions a game. Timberwolves 2-3, 3rd in pace at 105.11 possessions a game. Nuggets are coming off a 117-112 win at Charlotte on Tuesday. Wolves are coming off their 2nd straight win, 119-110, 119-100 at the Pistons on Tuesday, and they're playing well. They're ruining the draft pick for the Warriors, and they're having fun doing it. And they're now 4.5-point favorites. Some of our guys got in at 6, which is extremely impressive. Pinnacle wasn't dumb enough to ever put out a 6. They opened it at 4.5, and it's at 4.5. 6 is perfect. 4.5 might be a little too tight. And this total is opening up at 235 now at 233 or 232.5. And Dennis Garcia says want minis. So do I, but Cape Paul VIP's in at 5. That's a big hook. I want mini too, but I'd love to get a little more than the 4.5. Yeah, I saw that, Mr. Ghoster. June 2nd now. Absolute bullshit. All right, let's go to the freshest look here and then talking NHL. We have the freshest look in Portland Trailblazers at Phoenix Suns. Freshest look here. Let's talk about it. The freshest look is the Suns minus 4.5, and I'm surprised that we're still getting 4.5. Very surprised. Trailblazers 41-29, 22-13 on the road. Suns 48-21, 26-9 at home. Suns past 5, they haven't been good. 2-3, their pace being slow. 29th to 96.20 possessions game. Blazers won 5 straight. Their pace up to 18th at 99.10 possessions game. Portland on the second half of back-to-back after 105-98 win at Utah yesterday. That took a lot out of them. Now they fly to Phoenix. Suns are coming off that second straight loss, 122-116 at Golden State on Tuesday. I like this spot a lot, and I agree. I agree. Phoenix Suns minus 4.5. The Taint play of the day. I will be rolling with our Dutch boy, Fresh. And he's also on Cat over 24.5. He's averaged 27.5 last 5. And Nugs allowed Blake Griffin to get 20. Cat will eat. Interesting. Very, very interesting spot here. I'm going to pop that under this game. This is from our Dutch boy, Fresh. All right, let's review action. And there's a couple spots I'm still waiting on, but Charlotte Hornets plus 8. Tron Hopkins, they give me my props. Play of the day, Sabonis over 21.5 points. After coming off a low-scoring night, I like as well. Dean Williams now. It's great to see you, Dean. Says Blazers have a lot to play for to stay out of the playoffs. Phoenix just has to bounce back here. Wow, bases loaded, one out. Wow. Magic plus 13.5. Miami Heat. I'm not sure what I'm going to get at this point. And Turnsies on the Panthers at plus 120. Let's get over there quickly. I have a lean towards the Spurs, but I want to see if I can get another half point or something. I don't know what to do with the Bulls because I don't think they care. I just don't think they care. And so I don't know what to do with that spot because the Raptors players who are playing do kind of care. So I'm confused there. I'm off of Kings Grizzlies at this point. I'm wondering if I can get another half point or something on the Timberwolves at home. Maybe I can't, but I'm curious to see if I can. I do think they're the spot, though. And then I'm on the freshest look, Suns minus 4.5. That is our NBA card. We're going to go into NHL quickly. We went 3-1 yesterday. We hit with the Senators plus 165, hit with the Knights minus 1.5 at plus 135, hit with the Knights first period minus 0.5 at plus 135. And Matt S. says they will care. They'll dismantle the Raps. And then Wild minus 1 at plus 115 was a loser. And the Oilers minus 1 at plus 109 was a push. We're now 142 and 149, hitting at 48.8%, but our average line is plus 116, so we're up 2.98 units, and our ROI is plus 1.02%. We start with the Minnesota Wild, St. Louis Blues. I expect Kaapo Kähkönen, 16-7-0, 2.70 goals against average, 908 save percentage, and I expect Jordan Binnington, but I don't know if he will be in net, but it's the second half of back-to-back with these two teams. You have to think that this Wild team bounces back a little bit. Yeah, Turnsies, Sens are going to be better and better and better until the players want to get out of Ottawa. So let's go over to NHL odds market very quickly and see what we are dealing with here. You have to think that the Wild want to bounce back, but money again coming in quickly on St. Louis. And Kaapo Kähkönen is being so bad. And the Wild don't care. And if the Wild don't care, then how can you bet them? Can you expect Dean Evison to lay into these guys before the game starts? No. Steve Priest is on the Wild. Blues under 6. Matt S. St. Louis looking good. Hard to go against them. I can't do anything here. Do we have Binnington confirmed, anybody? Let's move on to the next spot, 9 p.m. Eastern, Vancouver Canucks at Calgary Flames. Thatcher Demko going up against Jacob Markstrom. Demko has had a good enough year, and when he gets hot, he is elite. And I expect him to play really well here near the end of the year, and I expect Sutter to light a fire under the Flames. And if Markstrom is going to be in goal, we can expect Markstrom here. Slot says, Flames is my look in regulation. Canucks are a dumpster fire waiting for coach to be fired. The brutal COVID season. Sutter still has their attention. I agree, but with the way Demko is playing, I don't want to trust Calgary, and now they don't have Monahan. He's done for the season. And this total's gone to 6. I think we can get under this total. Earl saying Binnington not confirmed. Look, if it's Demko Markstrom, which I expect, I don't know if it's confirmed, I think we get under 6. I think Demko plays hard, and I think Sutter has the Flames playing hard. Markstrom is confirmed in net. So then it has to be – it doesn't have to be Demko, but as soon as Demko is confirmed, I think the under 6 is the play here. And Earl Sports has the under 5.5 at plus money. So I'm going to be on the under 6. And then we have Kings, Colorado Avalanche, and I expect Troy Grosnick versus Jonas Johansson. And we're all over Grosnick in that first start of his career, and he was awesome. Oh, it was not first start. It was first start in 6 years, in the NHL. And Grosnick and Johansson confirmed. And Johansson trying to be the backup goaltender here. Right up sent. Beautiful. And so this is not as similar of a spot for Grosnick. And I'm not sitting here so confident because Johansson has a lot to play for. And these Kings team is not going to be sitting there like they were in the beginning of the year saying, let's fight for this guy. They look like they've just checked out. So I'm very hesitant to have anything to do with the Avalanche after embarrassing the Kings last night. You have to think the Kings bounce back. But I don't trust the Kings to bounce back. And I know that Johansson is going to play hard. And Nilo sees Markstrom confirmed. And Mr. Goak saying, great journey, lights out for Milwaukee. Mr. Goak said, Kings goalie advantage? Probably. So with all that being said, I am only on the under 6 in Canucks Calgary Flames. I can't trust the Flames to step up. And Dennis Garcia says, what can I get the Kings at plus 2? Let's do that. We got a minute and a half. The big Babano and C-Mac show coming up next. MLB best bets with Babano and C-Mac. Kings plus 2. Let me tell you where you can get Kings plus 2. Why? Oh, because they've already shown us. So plus 2.5 is minus 150. And plus 1.5 is plus 140. So be about minus 105. Kings plus 2 at minus 105. That's a great bet. That's a great bet, Dennis. It's a great bet. North Ender says Peterson in that? I thought we had Grosnick confirmed. I don't think they don't go back-to-back with Peterson. That makes no sense. And Chris Stern says Kings plus 2 at minus 103 on DraftKings. That's a great bet. That's a really, really smart thinking, trying to figure out an angle in that game that I couldn't find. Okay, Kings plus 2, great idea. Kings plus 2, they have to lose by 3 goals to lose that bet. And the Canucks Calgary Flames under. That's it. All right, thank you guys so much. We're coming off 2 winning days. Yesterday was a giant winning day. 12-5 plus 7.55 units. Let's go. Let's go. Don't forget Preakness on Saturday. And right now, head over to our guys, Babano and C-Mac, MLB Best Bets. Thank you all so much for all the energy you put into the show. I call all your names out, but right now we have to get over to Babano and C-Mac. Much love to all of you. Most important, Leche, Halos Bookmakers!
I can't breathe.
Pub Sports Radio. Come find us in Southtown 101. Subscribe on YouTube and all platforms where podcasts are found.